and he said, we're going to ask some of the other producers if anybody wants to be your sponsor. Well, yesterday afternoon, I got a lovely telephone call from a lady named Brown, and she says, you want a producer, or you want a sponsor, you want me to sign your application. She says, what is your show about? And I said, well, the whole show is about one thing, one message. When all is said and done, the only thing that really matters is how did you treat others? She says, I'll sponsor you. She says, I will be your executive producer. So she says, let me get the forms, and then I'll call you up in a few days and we'll make out the form. Isn't it great how God works in mysterious ways? Another good thing happened yesterday is Gary Black up in Buffalo, Hamburg, New York, Indian Orchard. Indian Orchard? No, honey, that's in Springfield. What is the name of that town outside of Buffalo? He has been in communication with our dear Robert Jackson, and they are going to have a shared Dropbox, and Robert Jackson is going to send Kenny for a chat with Glendora programs, 4 half hours, and not Kenny, but Gary Black, and Gary Black is going to, and Gary Black has the email of about 10, 15 TV stations of Glendora's that she's on, and he's going to send the program by Dropbox to each of those 10 or 15 TV stations, and that will be for a 2-month period, and then in another 2 months they get another group of 4. So Gary called and said he'd missed my telephone calls and that he was calling back. So that's the next thing on that. DC TV, which has been a perennial problem for 20 years. I think Robert Jackson finally has it all ironed out with lovely Karen Beasley. And on November 15th, we're going to send DC TV a second program. They missed it the first time we sent it because we didn't have a title of the program. And that will be the program in November. You send it, it will be for January. You have to send it 2 months ahead. So that is the nation's capital. And then Michael DeMond went over to the museum for 2 hours, and according to his report, he worked very, very hard. He said some of the top boxes at the museum were not filled with mice and were not damaged by the mice, but down at the bottom, row 6 and row 5, they were waterlogged and falling all apart. He didn't touch the rugs, and he got 2 bags of rubbish that he put up in the dumpster. And he worked very hard, but he was so full of hyperbole and hysteria about the urine smell and the feces that I never really got a concrete list from him of what he actually did. So I paid him his $100. That's $240 for the week. Not for the week, for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And he said, I'll be back at 8 o'clock Monday morning, this morning. I'll be back at 8 o'clock, and I'll go to work to it again. Patricia Nichols-Sarr was right here and heard the whole thing. I just talked to her, and she said, how much did Michael get done this morning? I said, Pat, he didn't even show. He didn't call. Oh, no. Well, reserve on that until we hear from Michael and see if he had some terrible thing happen to him. But if it is so, he's through. If it is not so, I mean, he's through. He was good. He was really good. He was good on the computer phone. He was good on the laptop. He was good at everything. Except what happened today. Now, what else is there? Dear Sandy Blakeman, teacher from Montessori school, has finished making out the reports for the children, and now, and doing this and that, and now she says this week I can go back to teaching. You've heard teachers say that, right? So many reports, and now this week they can go back to teaching. So this morning, after all of the meditation and everything, and the Christian Science, my Christian Science practitioner wants me to concentrate on, but it's good. It's good. Don't see any bad. It is good. And the leg pain isn't there. Wendy and I spent 2 hours. Here's what I see is to be done. We called the storage unit place, and they aren't open until Tuesday. I think we should rent 2 storage units and clean up one of them all nicely, the walls and the ceiling and the floor. And I think we should get 2 pieces of wood, 12 inches long and about 5 inches wide, and rest the boxes on that. Go to the museum, first of all, and sort out the rugs. If the rug is damaged, then fold the rug, put it underneath the museum, let it air out throughout the winter, and maybe it will give a home to some of the mice, the folded rug. And if it's a good rug, take it to the storage unit place, which we will call Museum 2. What do you think? And then Michael said that column 1, rows 1, 2, 3, and 4 were okay, but rows 5 and 6 were waterlogged. So you take rows 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and you take them to the new museum, and you put them in the upper far corner. And then you'll do the same with row 2, row 3, row 4, row 5, row 6. That's enough for today. Oh, and the rugs. Okay, I told you about that. If it's good, we'll take it to the museum. But who's going to do all this work? So we call the 19 people that we had to say, no, the job is already taken by Michael. We'll have to take, we called them all up and asked them if they wanted this job and how much they wanted for the whole job. And then we called movers. And one mover said they could come next Monday and that it would be 2 men, $114 an hour, and a minimum of $500 and something dollars. So I asked her, are the 2 men good looking? So, do you have any more ideas? And then my dear Wendy went ahead and made 2 programs. The first week of December 20 20 and the first week of January 2021 for West Hartford and for Hudson. She made the first week and the second week to be repeated. They play it in December and repeat it in January. And it had to have a disclaimer on it. That is against public access law. No cable operator can tell a public access producer what to say. And when you say, you have to say, this program, this TV station is not responsible for the production or the content of this public access program. When they make you try to say that, they could be sued for everything they have. You cannot exercise editorial control over a public access producer. But we let that go. We let that go. In fact, we had some fun with it. My announcement was, this TV station is not responsible for the production nor content of this superb public access TV show. Glendora is. I believe you are up to date, dear. And today is November the 9th, Monday, 2020, Anno Domini. Don't you have a joke? Just one joke? Can't you tell people one joke instead of bad news? No, it's not bad news. The way to look at it is good. You will see good come out of it. All right, one joke. The woman answered the front door and said, I did not send for a piano tuner. I did not send for a piano tuner. And the man at the front door said, no, ma'am, the neighbors did. Can't we have a nice Bible passage to perk us up? Yes. Philippians 4:7. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. How about a hymn? Love divine, all loves excelling, joy of heaven to earth come down. Fix in us thy humble dwelling, all thy mercies, Jesus, crown. Jesus, thou art all compassion, pure unbounded love thou art. Fix in us thy humble dwelling, enter every trembling heart. Okay, that's a little better. How about some words? I don't have time to have somebody put them on a recorder for you so I can remember them for you. Aver, avouch, avow, attest, allege, no, take allege out of there. That's too weak. Asseverate, pronounce, acclaim, declare, affirm, confirm, ratify, state as positively so, beyond repute. Okay. That's it. Bible, hymn, word, and joke. Hi folks. The camera may be skew-G'd because there's nobody around to line it up. But the audio is not skew-G'd. The audio is right on target. This is November 10th, Tuesday, 2020. Bad news from Manchester, Connecticut. The TV station is being very poorly run. They won't accept DVDs from a person. Okay, then why don't they accept them by mail? They won't do that either. And then why don't they accept them by file transfer protocol instead of defiling public access? It's very bad run. So all the programs, those lovely programs, the Chat with Glendora, you know our message. When all is said and done, the only thing that really matters is how did you treat others? That great message, so it sits there for all year, ever since March, unheard. And television and computer and phones need that message. Well, you and I have been trying to love perfectly now for how many years together? Remember, we made a pact that we would help each other love perfectly. Well, this morning it all seems to come down very succinctly to 4 things. 1, no self, complete selflessness, no selfishness. 2, love as hard as you can, love all the time, love, give your love and your help to others. And don't think about anything bad. Don't allow it into your mind. It is not admissible. Don't let it into your mind. Think only about what is good. Don't think about what is bad. Just think about what is good. And just remember the allness of God, or you can call God love, the allness of God, the wholeness of God. In fact, God is everything there is. Everything that is created by God. If it's not created by God, it doesn't exist. It's wrong thinking. It's a scam. It's a sham. Anything bad. So, the allness of God, the goodness of God, the wholeness of God. We're all one whole, W-H-O-L-E. The onlyness of God, there's only God. And, let's see, one, all, one, only, and whole. That's 3, or that's 4, really. Selflessness, and be as loving as you can, and the allness of God, and don't think anything bad, and be vegan. Live harmlessly. Don't hurt animals. Don't hurt anybody. Boy, there can't be much more to say than that, can there? And remember this, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you, through Christ, through helping others, through being loving and kind. You can do all things through that. That strengthens us. And Glendora, you should remember to use first person plural. Okay. Where's that from? Philippians 4:7. Got a hymn? Yes. Love divine, all love's excelling. Joy from heaven to earth come down. Fix in us thy humble dwelling. All thy mercies, Jesus, crown. Jesus, thou art all compassion. Pure, unbounded love thou art. Fix in us thy humble dwelling. Enter every trembling heart. Haven't got the words yet. I think what I have to do, folks, is to buy 4 Olympus. I have given up on the microcassette, as much as I love them. Unless Michael Dumont comes back, he knows how to operate them. He knows how to do so much. But he costs so much money. So I think I'm going to get 4 Olympus. 1 for the Bible passage, 2 for the jokes, 3 Bible passage in the hymn, 2 for the jokes, 3 for the words, and 4 for the telephone in calls, the voicemail, and the events. Get 4 Olympus, 4 different ones. It's awfully hard to queue up an Olympus. After you recorded it, sometimes you never can find it again. 1,500 hours of audio. So what would be a word? Esculapian. All were pertaining to the medical field. Aesculapius was the Roman god of medicine. The dispenser of Anacin and Tylenol. Now for 2 jokes. Oh, did I say one of the Olympus would be for jokes? Have them ready for you. Okay, let me pause and see if I can disinter 2 jokes for you. Also in Philippians 4, folks, the Apostle Paul says, I have learned to be content in no matter what state I find myself, and that includes the state of New York. The piano soloist was asked, why did you choose to play Beethoven's first piano concerto? And he thought a long time, folks, and then he said, that's what the orchestra was playing. What are you going to do today? What are you going to accomplish? I'm going to try to accomplish those 5 things, right? No self, love everybody, no bad thought, remember the allness, wholeness, oneness and onlyness of God, and of course vegan. That's standard, that's every day. And 30 telephone calls. DCTV we don't have to do until November 15th. The Dropboxes, sending 15 TV stations the programs by Dropbox instead of by DVD. The Dropbox costs $45 a month. I paid $700 for it last year and it never got used, and it hasn't got used yet. But Gary Black and Robert Jackson, with thanks to George Durnford, are going to try to resolve that in the next few days. We have to do renewals. Norwalk, Connecticut, Litchfield, Connecticut, Wappingers, New York, Newark, New Jersey, Rockland County, New York, and I guess that's all, 5 of them. Get ready for the meeting with the owners tomorrow night, who want me to have somebody here all the time. Hyperbole, hysteria, totally unnecessary. But we love the owners and we'll try to give them what they want. Even though it costs hours and hours of labor to get it ready, and even though it costs dollars and dollars of money. Dictate a letter through, hey Google, hey Google, hey Google, hey Google. She's not awake yet.
Hi, how can I help?
Oh, hi Google. Yes. Send an email to Jackson, please.
Who do you want to email?
Jackson. Jackson.
Is that Jackson or Robert Jackson?
That would be Jackson. I think I lost you, Google. Hey, Google, send an email to Jackson, please.
Sure. Do you want to email Jackson? What's the message?
If at first you don't succeed, give up.
So, that's a message to Jackson saying, if at first you don't succeed. I'll send it from a chat with glendora@gmail.com. Do you want to send it or change it?
Change it. Change it, Google. Change it. Hey, Google, send an email to Jackson, please.
Sorry, do you want to send it or change it? You can also say, cancel it.
Change it.
Got it. Do you want to email Jackson? What's the message?
If at first you don't succeed, give up.